This is a production of Florida State University.
Coming up on FSU Headlines, Florida State University sends off the class of 2018 in style. The university celebrates a near record year in research. And we prepare for the season ahead as the Seminoles get ready for the fall. Stay tuned for these stories and much, much more. FSU Headlines starts now. Hello and welcome to the August 2018 edition of FSU Headlines. We're coming to you from the William Johnston Building here on the beautiful campus of Florida State University. I'm your host, Dennis Schnitker. This summer, Florida State bids farewell to its 2018 graduates in the time-honored ceremony known as commencement. These graduates enjoy all the pomp and circumstance as FSU sends off degree earners with a fitting celebration of this monumental accomplishment. Check it out.
Graduation's all about, all the little moments that have taken you to where you needed to be. Like, this is all it's led up to be.
We're assembled this evening to pay tribute to our graduates who have worked hard to earn their degrees and who will today embark on new journeys. On behalf of the university and the assembly, I congratulate you and wish you every success.
Alec wants you two with him?
Oh, it's huge. Not only for me, but for everyone associated with me, my professors and my family. I definitely did not do it alone.
Kelly Ann Hagan.
To the FSU class of 2018, congratulations, you made it. There are many things you will not be able to control in your career. Economic cycles, who your co-workers are, what they had for breakfast, or God forbid if you have a gator as a boss. But the one thing you will always be able to control is how hard you work.
Alec Justin Ray Heyer.
I know that this just serves as a building block for where I want to go in life. And I know that I have to take the opportunities that this university has provided for me and make something of those opportunities and make something of my life. I probably came here a kid and am leaving here a lot closer to a man.
And you may now move your tassels from right to left.
You will always carry Florida State with you everywhere you go, and you will always be an ambassador for us. You are family. This is your home, and family is always welcome home. We will always leave a light on for you, or better said, we will always leave the torch on for you. I congratulate you, your parents, your family members, your friends for reaching this great milestone and wish you great success in everything you do in the future. Remember, time is your most precious commodity. Make it count. It's been an honor. Thank you.
More than 2,400 graduates earned degrees this summer, and of those, 1,500 participated in our 2 summer commencement ceremonies. Congratulations to all. Now, before some of those graduates made their way across the stage, they also received an honor unique to Florida State University. 28 graduating seniors were inducted as part of the latest class of Garnet and Gold Scholars this summer. This is an honor that ranks high on the list of achievements for the well-rounded Florida State student because these students excel in and out of the classroom in the areas of leadership, internship, international study, service, and research. During the special induction ceremony, the newly inducted students received Garnet and Gold medallions presented by University Provost Sally McRory. The scholars then proudly wear those medallions during commencement ceremonies. They're the best of the best. Our next headline, Florida State University generates some big numbers that could translate into big scientific breakthroughs. Florida State University researchers brought in more than $226 million in research funding during the 2018 fiscal year. The funds from federal, state, and private sources drive and support investigations into areas like nuclear science, climate change, the effect of deep space travel on human health, and much, much more. This year's total is more than $16 million more than the previous year, and it's the second highest total FSU researchers have received in a single year. If you add it all up, that's more than $1 billion in research funding in the past 5 years at Florida State. The funding has also helped raise the national prominence of Florida State in rankings and prestige. In the last 2 years alone, the university has jumped 10 spots to number 33 in U.S. News and World Report's national rankings. Scientists at Florida State University recently learned a popular recreational activity could negatively impact sea turtles off the coast of Florida. Scalloping is a familiar summer pastime for amateurs in the warm coastal waters of Florida's coastal river region. The area is the state's largest recreational bay scallop fishery, but it's also home to sea turtles that live in the shallow waters there. And this seasonal scalloping activity by humans could be forcing those loggerhead sea turtles to turn tail and leave. Assistant Professor of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Science, Mariana Fuentes, and her postdoctoral researcher, Natalie Welderman, used a sophisticated satellite tracking device to tag and monitor a selection of the 3 sea turtle species common to the area.
During the scallop season, we went back and recorded vessels and turtles, and we saw that turtles were still there, but they were moving more towards the coast. We still saw some turtles where the boats were scalloping, but most of the turtles, like the hot spots where most of the turtles were concentrated, were shifting more towards the coast. We imagine that it's because they're trying to avoid the high vessel density areas.
Researchers stress that steps can be taken to minimize both direct and indirect ecological damage. Reducing the density of harvesters could allow turtles the room to migrate between better suited habitats without being disrupted, and recording turtle sightings on GPS or smartphones could help boaters avoid areas with higher turtle activity. Well, coming up on FSU Headlines, an important FSU public service announcement is raising awareness about a national issue.
Remember these principles of run, hide, fight. Your life may depend on it.
We'll show you how the FSU Police Department is doing its part to make the campus community safer when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
What does preeminence look like?
Best Picture.
Florida State University.
When you buy a Florida State University license plate,
You're not just showing your school spirit.
You're supporting students like us.
in the lab,
In the classroom.
And in the library.
putting this tag on your vehicle helps Florida State students achieve their dreams. So show your pride. Purchase an FSU license plate today.
Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm your host, Dennis Schnitker. After adopting the Run, Hide, Fight national law enforcement model, the Florida State University Police Department is going above and beyond the normal call of duty to create an awareness campaign for the Florida State community. The FSUPD has produced an educational video that provides potentially life-saving information to prepare the campus community and the public for the possibility of active shooter situations. As FSU Headlines reporter Mark Vaughn explains, the video is designed to educate and prepare citizens to deal with an active aggressor in any setting.
The Florida State University Police Department is going above and beyond its normal call of duty to create an awareness campaign for the Florida State community. FSUPD took on the task of creating an FSU-specific public service announcement video explaining the nationally recognized Run, Hide, Fight awareness campaign.
So we felt the video was an important component to the in-person training that we provide to our campus community, but we needed a visual so our students and our employees and everyone could connect with the message that we're giving them. We thought seeing the backgrounds of our facilities, seeing people who they were familiar with would just help, re-emphasize that message of how important it is to be prepared.
This video is the organization's effort to explain the national model of the Run, Hide, Fight campaign in response to an active shooter situation.
I'm on the southwest quarter of Azalea Hall, and I just heard gunshots.
Okay, stay calm. Are you safe?
I don't know.
How many people are hurt?
Gunshots.
When you can run, you have to actually see what it looks like, because people are sometimes paralyzed in their fear if something traumatic does happen. And so if you have not thought about it, if you have not seen it in action, you'll hesitate. And those are the moments and seconds that you need to get away from a dangerous situation. And if you can't run, that's where the hide component comes in. And some people may not be familiar with how to hide. They've never actually gone through that physical exercise of moving a desk, knowing that it's going to take some physical activity to barricade themselves. And so to see those principles, to kind of know that you could wrap a belt around the door hinge, all those things we think create the visual that our community needs to be safe.
FSUPD's Run, Hide, Fight video depicts a fictional attack by a lone gunman. The dramatized video is intended to make you think and prepare. FSUPD hopes you don't need to use these skills, but at the same time, they want you to be prepared in the event that you one day might need to use them.
Sometimes shooters use fire alarms to flush out the building, so always be alert. If you hear gunfire, hide. If you can't escape, protect yourself.
The worst thing a person can do is to sit there helplessly and allow something bad to happen to them. But if you see someone running, if you see someone hiding and barricading themselves, and as a last resort, you see that you can defend yourself and stop a person from hurting you, then those principles hopefully will be instilled in that person to say, hey, I remember that video. I know I can do something to hopefully save my life or the life of someone else.
The main goal of the video and any training FSUPD provides for situations like this is for everyone to have a plan in place before something happens.
Remember to remain calm and follow our directions. Help is on the way for the injured.
This summer, FSUPD produced its own unique Run, Hide, Fight video showing FSU's campus as an educational tool to show just how to respond should the situation occur here in Tallahassee. But the potentially life-saving information has shown benefits beyond Florida State, says Chief Perry.
We have received phenomenal responses from our internal campus community members, even external. Other colleges and universities are asking, how did we do it? You know, who produced this type of outstanding video? And some have even asked, Mark, can we use your video on another campus? And so I think that's one of the highest compliments that we could receive for another university to want to use a product that we've created.
The FSUPD produced video is also used as part of the in-person training provided by the police department to employees and students as well.
Extremely proud of the men and women that work for our agency who've shown us that they're willing to run toward the danger during a crisis, because we've had that situation occur before. But we needed a visual mark to show our campus community of how that response will really look. These officers will have life-saving tools in the form of handguns, in the form of rifles. They will be dressed in protective gear. And so to see those officers responding that way will hopefully create that, again, memory marker for them to say, this is what's going to happen. I can process that, and I can feel comfortable when I see these men and women coming to help with the situation.
For FSU Headlines, I'm Mark Vaughn.
To see the training video in its entirety, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Florida State. A Florida State University research team is using artificial intelligence to predict the formation of new chemical compounds. FSU professors of chemistry and biochemistry Michael Shatruck and his doctoral student Kevin Ryan have been hard at work learning how machine learning or artificial intelligence could help them figure out answers to the complex questions they were asking about chemical compounds. So they developed a machine learning model that relies on a neural network. It's the same technology that powers Google Maps or voice recognition software, and it uses that knowledge to predict how crystal structures could create new chemical compounds.
We wanted to shift from a more experience-based discovery of materials to more fact-based discovery, if you will. So that was basically the idea of using the statistical methods such as machine learning to try to get insight into what new kind of crystal structures you can form.
It isn't going to just give you the right answer 100% of the time, but it kind of gives you an educated guess. It's kind of a second opinion, if you will, of what it expects to work or not. It really is kind of just intuition, and it's based on data, so it isn't like this thing that's able to kind of conceive of truly novel things that there isn't a statistical basis for. So it really is useful for pushing out just a little further from the kind of knowledge we have. So it's kind of like any model. If you extrapolate, the model becomes less reliable the further out you extrapolate. So this is really powerful for kind of making small steps really rapidly and pushing out kind of the limit of our knowledge.
The research is published in the Journal of the American Chemical Society. A Florida State University study finds the elderly can improve mobility by doing some light stretching with the help of a simple device. New research by a Florida State professor of biomedical science could have some big impacts on the health of elderly patients suffering from a specific ailment. Professor Judy Delp and her colleague at the Florida State College of Medicine, Emily Pritchard, are developing a simple yet effective leg splint to help perform muscle stretching with minimal risk of injury. The results have been promising and could help this group get back on its feet.
If we can take people who aren't walking and get them walking again, because we're improving the function of their muscles so that they can walk more or longer, then that's a really important thing. We did a small study where we just used kind of a splinting device that we ordered off the shelf. So what we are doing now is we are really trying to improve on that, design one of our own. Emily Pritchard, Dr. Pritchard is really working on coming up with an improved splint design that will really allow us to be prescriptive in what we tell these patients to do.
Professor Delp's study is published in the Journal of Physiology. Is it idle talk, or could it be fierce competition? An FSU researcher finds women may use gossip as a weapon against romantic rivals. New research from Florida State University psychology researcher Tanya Reynolds suggests women use gossip, oftentimes unconsciously, to compete in the realm of romance. Reynolds hopes the insights and awareness produced from this research reduces bullying and enhances friendships.
Women, when they gossip, feel as though they are spreading the information just out of concern. Like, oh, I'm just so worried about her. I'm not sure if she's making a good choice right now. And so in their mind, it might not feel malicious. It might not feel as though they are intending to gossip, and they might like the person they're talking about. But nonetheless, the information that they spread is harmful and affects the reputation of the woman about whom they're talking.
Reynolds led 5 studies that found women were more likely to spread negative information about a woman perceived as a threat to their romantic prospects. Her findings are published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology. Coming up next on FSU Headlines, are you ready for some football?
Eyes up, Chef. Eyes up, Chef. There we go. Better, buddy.
We're headed to practice as the Florida State Seminoles gear up for new head football coach Willie Taggart's first season. When FSU Headlines continues in a moment. Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker. It's August, and that means it's time to talk football. Florida State University fans have a lot to talk about this season, too, with new head football coach Willie Taggart entering his first season in charge. Everyone is anxious for the Noles to get started, and that includes FSU Headlines reporter Mark Vaughn, who joins us now to talk about how the Noles are preparing for the upcoming season and to talk about some other FSU teams also getting ready for the fall. Mark?
Absolutely, Dennis. Well, it's August, it's hot, but it also means it's football season, and there's a lot going on here at Florida State University for fans to be excited about. Probably number one on that list, the new head coach, Willie Taggart, taking the reins of the FSU football team, and that means there's some new offense, some new defense, a lot to look forward to. The Noles into camp in early August, looking to put in the work to perfect the strategies and team chemistry that set the tone for the 2018 campaign. New coaches and new players making their way into fall camp, building on what Coach Taggart and his staff started back in the spring and throughout the summer workouts. And of course, Coach Taggart bringing something new to Tallahassee, as in a few new offensive and defensive schemes. High energy and tempo on the offensive side of the ball, where he'll be calling his plays, and a new look 4-3 defense that's different from last year's 3-4 scheme led by new defensive coordinator Harlan Barnett. But Coach is also making sure to bring back some of the people who helped build Florida State into a perennial powerhouse on the national level. People like legendary Hall of Fame coach Bobby Bowden, who's been back to visit the team since Taggart has taken over, And also Bowden's longtime defensive coordinator, Mickey Andrews, who joins Coach Taggart's staff as special assistant to the head coach.
These guys have kind of made it what Florida State what it is today, and why we all are crazy about Florida State is the work that they put in, and I think it's important for our players to understand that. You think about these guys, a lot of them wasn't even born when we were doing some of those things, so it's really important for me, it's for our guys to understand, the guys that came before them, the coaches that came before them, and the guys that kind of made it to what it is today. And I think when they understand that, then it means more to them when they wake up in the morning to come represent Florida State University. They understand there's a standard, there's a way that you're supposed to be, and I need our football team to understand that. So I think having guys around that's done it and was a part of it is a good way to doing that, and I think they deserve it.
Now to some of the intricacies of those offensive and defensive schemes. The team installing that new defense under defensive coordinator Barnett, able to get real-time looks in practice thanks to the offense standing across from them every day. That's a bonus heading into a tough ACC schedule.
We've felt like the defense has gone against these type of teams over and over the years, and feel like we got some answers to the things they like to do. It's great that our offense goes fast, because that's the thing that everybody tries to do now and wear you out. So at Michigan State, we had to get our scout team to understand this is fast, because we didn't go that fast, right? So we had to get our scout. Now, when we go scout team, they understand the tempo of it. So that will really help us out. That was serving as an advantage to us, I think, this year, just because it's what we already do here.
And the offense has some work to do itself, namely picking a starting quarterback that, according to offensive coordinator and QB coach Walt Bell, that will all work itself out in time.
And I think all three of our quarterbacks, possess different skills. All three of them have ways to win a football game. And who they gravitate to, that is a big part of the equation, and that will be a big part of the equation moving forward. You always kind of hear me kind of use this analogy. I've never once talked about a depth chart in 6-7 years of coaching quarterbacks or 5 or 6 years of being a quarterback. I don't think I've ever talked about the depth chart to the quarterbacks, because the other 10 guys, the offense, about 12, 15 practices from now, a guy will walk in there and everybody will know that's the dude. And then if some other guy walks in there, they'll kind of get the side eye from me, like, are you sure you want him in here with us right now? They make those choices, and so to me that's the goal of quarterback is, how quickly can you get that done and how quickly will those other guys know? And so that's what camp's for.
FSU has a pretty tough schedule this year, with Louisville and Miami all on the road, Clemson and Doak Campbell all in the ACC for Willie Taggart's first season as head coach. Over to the soccer pitch, and Coach Mark Krikorian and crew gearing up for what will hopefully be a thrilling season, with the veteran senior class leading the way, as well as some super talented underclassmen looking to put up some big numbers for the Noles this year. The team into the practice schedule and then quickly right into the regular season for the 2018 campaign after a fun and eventful summer of some foreign travel and, of course, soccer all around the country and the world for some of the ladies. The Noles will look to get back to the top of the league after earning ACC championships in 5 of the last 7 seasons, and the Florida State soccer program again expected to have a strong season as the Seminoles were voted to finish 2nd in the league. FSU trailed only North Carolina in voting and were also one of 2 schools to place multiple members on the 2018 preseason All-ACC women's soccer team. Senior Natalia Kika and junior Dania Castellanos both on the ACC preseason All-ACC team. Kika will once again be the team captain for the Seminoles. Castellanos returns to the Garnet and Gold after one of the best offensive seasons in program history just last year. The Venezuelan native tallied 41 points on 19 goals and 3 assists, leading the nation in goals and ranking 2nd in a single season in FSU history. The Noles have some big matchups at home this season in the ACC and against non-conference teams as well. Go to Seminoles.com to check out their schedule. And now let's head indoors for a minute and to another fall sport starting its season. That's volleyball. The women's volleyball team looking for an outstanding season too. The Florida State indoor volleyball team picked to finish 3rd in the Atlantic Coast Conference this season by the 15 head coaches in the league. After going 12-8 in conference play last season and finishing in a tie for 5th place in the ACC, the Seminoles are looking to once again top their conference. The conference saw a record 6 teams earn a bid to the NCAA tournament last season, many teams returning a high number of letter winners for this year. The season starts in mid-August. The Noles at home and then some road tournaments get them going and into the swing of things before the Seminoles open ACC conference play at home this season, hosting Duke and Wake Forest on September 21st and 23rd. Of course, we'll keep you up to date here on FSU Headlines throughout the season with all the fall sports, but you can stay up to date day to day by visiting Seminoles.com. That's going to do it for me. Let's send things back to you, Dennis.
All right, thanks, Mark, for that update. Big changes on the Florida State campus as the Oglesby Student Union is demolished for a major renovation project. Earlier this summer, construction crews started to take down the Oglesby Union brick by brick in preparation for what will be a brand new state-of-the-art student union. And now, as you can see, the demolition is certainly moving along throughout the weeks and months since. The demolition phase will remove about 75% of the former Oglesby Union to make way for the new 4-story Oglesby Union. The new building will feature sleek glass walls, comfortable outdoor seating, state-of-the-art technology, and many of the venues students have grown to know and love. Look for brand new versions of the food court, the Club Down Under, Crenshaw Lanes, the Art Center, and of course, Market Wednesday. There will also be a bigger and better FSU campus bookstore, new ballrooms, and new food venues. The new Oglesby Union is expected to open in fall 2020. That's going to do it for this edition of FSU Headlines, but you can keep up with Florida State anytime on the university's official news website, news.fsu.edu. For everyone here at Florida State University, I'm Dennis Schnitker. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.